Deandra Coach for the Attorney General's office, Your Honor. Your Honor, we're here on temporary orders, and at this time, the state is requesting that this be reset to your in-person setting, which is, I believe, June 17th. I believe this should be set at 10:30. Ms. Bertetti has not received any of the documents from Mr. Gonzalez that he previously sent in January and any other new documents that he may be presenting. I don't know if Ms. Bertetti sent any documents to him with what she's going to present, but for sure, Ms. Bertetti hasn't received any documents from Mr. Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez also has a concern. Your Honor did order a non-disclosure for both parties, and neither party was supposed to know each other's address, and that you had opted for the pickups and drop-offs to either be at the children's residence, or I believe it's Mr. Gonzalez's mother, Ida Trevino. Mr. Gonzalez has concerns with that because the children's backpacks have air tags on them. So that was his concern. Additionally, he had another concern that Miss Bertetti was continuously calling during her visits. I did explain that during his visits, I did explain that there was the Bill of Rights, Your Honor, attached to that she may call at reasonable times and reasonable hours. But once again, Your Honor, I'm just asking that you admonish them to behave and follow the Bill of Rights and to turn over documents as I guess they're collected to each other as well as the Attorney General.
We did publish their phone numbers or email addresses at least so they could communicate, or do they have the app closed communication?
App close, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, well, did they agree to the resets to the in-person? Even if they didn't agree, I don't know, with a lot of documents, the computer's not the way to go. It would take too long and it's too burdensome. And we have to stop at every line item to read it and Zoom open and Zoom close and all that stuff. So that seemed like the best way to go. So let me start talking to you, Mr. Gonzalez. You're the one that's worried about the air tags on the children's backpack when they come over?
Correct.
So is that each and every time that you noticed them, or how have you handled it?
Yes, ma'am. Every time. And I've just, gone with the flow.
So you didn't rip them off, put them outside? I mean, in
Nope.
any case, they're discoverable, I assume.
No, they're discoverable by my iPhone.
And I assume by Ms. Bertetti's as well. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yes.
Okay, and we did have a non-disclosure. So what happened with the pickup and drop off? Did I really do it at the children's residence if you weren't supposed to know where each other lived?
No, it's at the school,
It's,
Okay.
Your Honor.
did I say residence, Your Honor? I apologize. It's
Yeah,
supposed to be
that's
the
what I wrote
children's
down. I'm like, how did I do that? Okay, at the
it's
school.
school, Your
So
Honor. Ida
what's
Trevino.
or at Ida Trevino, the paternal grandmother?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so what's
And
happening with that? Is that an issue?
No, we haven't had to go to that pickup. It's all been done at the school.
Okay, and is that a problem?
No,
Or
ma'am.
that's not a problem? So the air tags you're concerned about with the non-disclosure finding and phone calls, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I'm trying to limit the calls, Your Honor, because it seems like when I'm on the phone, I just get attacked. And uh, it was definitely more than one time over voice through the app close program. So if y'all want to, order those, you can hear what was said.
Okay, so remind me what your visits are. They regular weekend visits at
Yeah,
school?
standard visitation. I get the kids every Thursday and the first, third, and fifth weekend. Now there was a as I was starting this, I was not aware of the dates, the calendar. Now I am aware of the calendar, but there was a weekend back to back that I didn't pick them up, and it was my mistake. I thought, since I had them one weekend, it was my children's mom's possession the next weekend, but I was wrong.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's not every other weekend. It's the first, third, and fifth. Yeah.
so when I have made that mistake, I have tried to ask Miss Bertetti to pick up the kids, and every time something like that happens, she says that I forfeited my rights. When the kids are always welcome to come with me anytime they want.
Okay, well, that would mean that you'll have a decent or civil relationship and can talk to each other and can work things out. If you're gone to app close and you don't know each other's addresses, I think you might be beyond that. So you do have to do it by the letter of the order, or you are forfeiting your visits. And that you didn't know, I'm surprised because we pretty much tell people that here. But if you didn't understand it, you didn't understand it. But it's not going to be a problem anymore. You plan to be there each and every the first, third, and fifth.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Um, but how often is she calling that you think is not reasonable? Let me figure that out from your side and I'll expect Teddy
So,
to
so
reply.
every time that I pick up the kids, and it's I would say at least a minimum of 3 times. And
Is it like daily, like after school Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, something like that? Or
yeah, yes, ma'am, daily. And it's more than at least 2 to 3 times in one time that I do have, which is not an issue. But sometimes, the kids do get frustrated because, they're having, a good time with me. And it just, I mean, I still want the kids to talk, but I think it's a little excessive.
so you have not communicated with her even through app close that maybe y'all can resolve it on your own, maybe once instead of 3 times or anything
I,
like?
I have not, because if I do that, she says that I would, and she's said that before, I have, but she says that I violate the Bill of Rights.
Okay, well, it says reasonable. It doesn't say which days and times, and I guess that's subjective. So I'm gonna try to figure it out. If I have to put it in writing, I will. But what would you prefer, Mr. Gonzalez?
I mean, once would be fine.
And by that, I mean which day and which time, which hour.
When they're with me, like for example, if I pick them up this Thursday, she's gonna call at least 2 to 3 times. Um,
I heard that, but what are you saying? Which day would you prefer? So if I have to put it in writing, y'all know exactly what the time is. And you're saying one, I'm sure I'm going to hear more from her, but which day and time period would you prefer for the phone call? Or
um, I would I would probably just say maybe a Thursday.
at the beginning of the visit, not in the middle somewhere. Let me ask you just for my information, like, do you communicate that you've picked up the kids and they're safely with you and they're not sitting on a curb waiting and cops are going to be called or CPS is going to be called? Maybe that's part of it. Do you communicate with her? You've picked up the kids from the school?
Well, I have, yes, but sometimes I don't have the chance to. She kind of beats me to the punch.
And you think she's trying to call about whether you have them or not, or is it something else?
It's just to see how the kids' days went and things like that.
Okay. And then, well, okay. Anything else I need to hear before I talk to her, Miss Bertetti?
Yeah, I just when she does call, they're well kept here, mentally and physically. As an adult, I do understand that my kids need to eat, uh, and it seems like she's almost trying to micromanage me to make sure that I'm doing the right thing for my children, which I am, and that's not necessary. I don't need to be interrogated. The kids do not need to be interrogated.
Okay. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Do you need to bring somebody else in or shall we wait a little bit longer for more people, Miss Coates?
I think we can wait just a little bit longer, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bertetti, can you reply, first of all, let's start with the school you're picking up and dropping off at the school, or he is, and so do you need to
Yes.
know that he's done that? Is that part of the reason for your calling him?
So I pick up the kids, for most part, and then I drop off the kids every morning at school. As far as the calling, during his possession, there has been 3 times that he hasn't picked up the children from school. Twice the school called me to let me know, hey, they get dismissed at 3:25, and about 3:50, they'll call and say that no one was there to pick up the kids. So I'll go, I'm usually already there because I pick up other kids from school. So I pick up the kids and then I let them know, like, hey, this is your responsibility. You were supposed to pick up the kids. The first time it happened, he didn't respond until like 2 hours later. The second time it happened, he responded probably about 30-ish minutes later. And so I've always kept air tags in the kids' backpacks. Mind you, the address that the kids go to with him, that was my old home with him when we were together. We were together for 9.5 years, almost 10 years. So it's the same address that I lived at. It's not a secret or anything like that. That was the address that I left from. That's the address that the kids are going to when he picks them up from possession. So I've always kept air tags in the kids' backpacks because they don't take phones to school. So all 3 of mine have air tags in them, and it's just a safety precaution, with the way the world is.
Is it possible that one of the times he missed the pickup is because he didn't realize it was this weekend, the back-to-back weekends that he had?
That is one. The second time was for spring break. He was supposed to pick him up, I believe, on the 16th or 17th. It was at the end of the spring break at 6 p.m. He didn't show up. And then the last one was just actually last Wednesday. He had agreed to swap days for instead of his Thursday pickup. He did it. We agreed that he would pick him up on Wednesday, take him to school on Thursday, because that Thursday our son had a dental procedure. So he was going to be put under, he had anesthesia or whatever. He was put on that. And so he wasn't going to be able to resume to school. So to make it easier for him, we had agreed to just swap the days. And he failed to pick up the kids from school last Wednesday.
Did he give a reason why?
No, and he's never let me know beforehand that he hasn't been able to exercise his possession. So it's marked in the calendar. I do utilize the AppClose calendar. There is a mark on there. So he's able to see it. He's able to accept the request whenever we put it in. I did send in, a list of documents. I have all the screenshots. I did put it in the calendar. He did agree to it. I did do another, request thing to where he can accept it. And I wrote it out like verbally for him as well. So he agreed to it. He was aware, he knew, he forgot.
Okay, so what's going to fix this, ma'am, is the part about the picking up and dropping off. If he lets you know that he's got the kids, you can feel safe that he did pick them up. And if you don't hear from him, then you assume he didn't. Would that work?
Not really. I call the kids every day after when he has them and he picks them up on Thursdays. I call them after school. I ask them how their day was. If they ate lunch at school, what their lunch was. Did you eat breakfast? Did you turn in your form? Just your everyday, duties. On Thursdays, I'll call right after school, and then I'll call again before bed. Usually it's about 8 o'clock. So I call them to ask them how their day was, if they ate dinner, if they ate all their dinner. Remind them, brush your teeth. Did you wash your hair? My daughter she fights all the time about washing her hair. Just those everyday, duties that I do as a mom with my kids here. I have the same conversation with them over the phone with him. Not with him, with the kids. Him and I barely communicate. When there is any differences between him and I, it's because there's like background noise or he's talking or they're talking while I'm talking to the kids. And I say, you guys are over talking me. I'm trying to talk to the kids. On the weekends,
Okay, Thursday you call him twice, Friday you call him twice, Saturday you call him once, twice.
Saturday, I usually call them 3 times. I call them in the morning to tell them good morning. Ask them, if they're gonna eat or if they ate breakfast. It's just a daily, I don't know, thing for me. So it's not, I just ask them, and then I'll call them in the middle of the day to let them know I'm thinking of them and what they're doing. Are you having fun? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Don't forget, my son and my daughter have had like recent injuries. So I'm like, don't forget, put your foot up, put it on ice or whatever. and then I'll call him again before bed. It's just, I call him in the morning and I call him before bed. Just, I see my
Do
kids
you
every
get-
day.
Yeah, but do you get that you're impeding on his time with them and you're micromanaging what he should be doing? They should know to brush their teeth. They should know to wash their hair. He should know to tell them if they don't do it. It's not your business to be interrupting his weekends with them. You don't
Oh,
get,
I understand that. My calls are only like 4 minutes long. They're not like 30 minutes long. They're a quick 4 minutes long. They're not
it's
taking up a
not
lot of his
about,
time.
no, it is. It is if you're calling once or twice or three times a day. He has to stop what he's doing, pay attention to them, and so the kids have to be disrupted. Is he calling you several times a day when you have the kids?
He doesn't even call for the kids.
Do you want him to
He,
call 3 to 4 times a day, 2 to 3
the
times?
kids do ask, why hasn't dad called? I said, I don't know. Do you want to call? No, I'll call later. I'm like, okay, we'll ask him again. Did you want to
Well,
call your dad?
you may be different personality types, but he's also, I think, respecting your time. They're with you, they're with you, they're with him. They need to be with him and without you interrupting several
Okay,
times a day. So you pick a day and time that you think you can handle, and that's going to be it. You don't get to call every day, twice a day. And I think that's going to be in addition to him confirming that he picked up the kids. If you can't trust him, and Mr. Gonzalez, I'm gonna hear from you in a minute why you didn't pick him up 3 times. And she doesn't know it and she's scrambling to get him, that's a problem too. So if you have to now text her to tell him you've got him, and if she doesn't hear from you about certain times, you can assume you didn't pick him up, because it affects her too that way. So I'm talking to you, Ms. Bertetti. What day and time do you think you could talk to the kids and leave it at that and find out what the other weekend when they come back? Not in the middle of the weekend, not right twice a day in house school.
can I call them at least once a day?
I thought that's what you were doing. It turns out that's
If
not.
I would, well, or I
You
usually
thought
call
you
them in the morning and then before bed. But if I can do once a day, if that's allowed, then that's fine because I can give them my love and
Most people can agree what's reasonable, but from a judge's perspective, I mean, I'm not there. I know you're bonded to your kids, of course, you both are, but it is intrusive. It just is, whether you realize it or not. It's meeting your needs, not meeting his. It may not be meeting the kids if you're constantly interrupting them, asking them what they're doing, how they're doing, and what went on, blah, blah, blah. Wait till your time if that's what you want to do. So,
Okay.
well, let me go back to you, Mr. Gonzalez. You've heard her story, and you didn't even report as much as she said, how many times she's calling. So, is once a day okay? Because that's a lot less than she was doing, or not.
Well, normally I try to at least call them at least a minimum of 2 to 3 times a week, not every day. And when
You
when I
said
do
you didn't
call
call
them,
them at all. You're talking about during her time you're calling them?
yeah, maybe like once a week just to see how they're doing, you know. Uh, and when I do call, I don't know if my daughter's being coached to ask me why don't I call them, but there's adjustments that I have had to make to accommodate my work. And when I do have the kids, I cannot work because I am with them 100% of the time. So I'm adjusting to my new schedule, so I can accommodate absolutely everybody and be there for my kids. But I'm not interfering uh, as
Okay.
much.
If she gets to call twice and you get to call twice and I figure it out right now, or y'all tell me and y'all figure it out for me, what days and times would that suffice? Would that be enough, Mr. Gonzalez? And then you keep up with it so you don't disappoint the kids by not calling?
Yes, ma'am. I can definitely do that, and I try to respect her time. That's why I don't, call when the kids are with her. But she does have the kids the majority of the time, and
Which days do you want to call her? Which 2 days and what times?
maybe Monday and this is when I don't have the kids. I'm assuming, Your Honor, this is when the kids are with her.
Well, yes, of course. Why else
Okay.
would you be calling them? Yes.
So Mondays and Wednesdays would be perfect.
And would that be in the evening?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know
They would be at school. So yes, after school.
what would be
Uh,
the best time that you think without their homework schedule or
I would say
dinner
before
schedule?
before 8 p.m.
And what's before 7:30? I don't know. If you
Yeah,
have
it could be, I could, just depending on my work schedule, it could be, 4:35 or, 6:37, of course, before 8.
Okay. I haven't done this before to tell people how many times they can call their kids, but nobody's ever complained about this before, honestly, with all the cases I've heard. So you think it would be fair if you called twice, that if she could call
Well,
twice?
I don't mind that she calls. It's just what when she does call, she
Well,
almost makes it seem like I'm not doing the best for my children when they're with me.
are you engaging with her so she's getting to tell you things? The kids, that's supposed to be calls for the kids, for her to talk.
Correct. No, I'm not. I'm not.
Good.
I'm just letting the kids talk.
Well, then there shouldn't be any opportunity for her to micromanage you if you're not talking to her. What I'm telling you is like, here you are, you're taking up all this time complaining, but you're not complaining. Are you or aren't you complaining? Can she call 2 times a week, a weekend, or?
If she does, just to make it positive and not more negative.
I wish I would had a magic wand and tell people how to live and what to do and how to behave in all situations, but it doesn't work. So I'm not going to put in there that you have to be nice. I was hoping the Children's Bill of Rights would help you all with a little bit of what you should do and how you should do it. But I'm not going to retrain people at this point in my life or your lives. So which times and dates do you want her to call when the kids are with you?
I would say Thursdays.
So Thursdays when they just left with you at the very beginning and you want to have her call right away. I'm
Well,
talking,
I
I'm
mean,
just
I
saying
feel, I
calls for
feel,
the,
yes, I kind of just want to. It seems like the kids want to start their time with me, and they don't want to, be interrupted because, when immediately. So I would say immediately. It's like that anyways. If I pick them up on Thursday, I mean, right after school, she calls and talks to them.
so that's one of the calls you want her to have.
Yes, ma'am. That's fine.
And then what other time?
I mean, that would be it. That would be ideal, actually.
And well, I could, if I'm just going to be even, if you, even though she has more time with them, you call them twice because you haven't even been calling them supposedly, or
I
not as
have been
much.
calling them
How often?
at least 2 to 3 times a week, not every day.
That's not what I heard from her. So here we are. I don't know who to believe.
I believe uh, she sent some documents in to the court. I think she has the call records, and I also can provide the call records
Well,
too.
I don't want to look at call records. I really don't. There's more important issues to deal with in your case than who's calling who at what time and for how long. That's something y'all really need to manage. That's the thing about it.
Okay.
Ms. Bertetti, what?
May I add, my son had surgery recently. He's been going to doctor's appointments. It feels like almost every 2 weeks for his eye. Was born with a torticollis that led to strabismus. He has to see an eye specialist. And we had to do a pre-op appointment. He had to go through surgery, was out of school for a couple weeks. And then he had his post-op appointment. I think his
And how do
dad,
you,
it's
okay, that's over?
it's now we still have one more appointment to go to. It's later on, but right now he's still in a healing process. Like he can't go play in the playground, can't go play in the pool, things like that. He wasn't allowed to go to school for like almost a week and a half. And so I had to take all that time off work, which I'm not complaining about. Um, so with that and with my daughter, she was in a boot for 3 weeks as well. She sprained her foot. Those are reasons why I called to check up on them as frequent, just to see how his eye is doing and such like that. And I say this because Francisco doesn't show up to the doctor's appointments. He showed up to one doctor's appointments. Of all the doctor's appointments I've submitted or I've put in and I put in the calendar, I gave him almost a month heads up or at least 2 to 3 weeks heads up in the calendar. He doesn't show up. It has a date, it has the address, it has the time, the doctors and stuff. He doesn't show up to any of those. So some of the times that I do call, I do remind, the kids like to remember you can't go play outside today, or stay indoors because Francisco doesn't show up to the doctor's appointments. Or whenever I do relate stuff to him, he feels like it's me controlling him or me telling him what to do when it's really just doctor orders.
Have you tried to put, if it's in writing and they give you the post-op procedures for the child, have you tried copying them or scanning them and putting them in app close so he can get it from the doctor through you? So he knows about it in writing and didn't have to hear it from you?
I didn't put I don't think I put the doctor's notes, never scanned them into app close for him, but I do tell him like, this is what happened, or he can't do this and he can't do that. Make sure you make other adjustments.
Well, do you get that it might be more effective in writing so that if he's not listening or he's distracted or whatever, that you're assured he has it in writing and you can harp on that, not just harp in his ear, which he may not.
No, it's written. We don't talk over app close. Everything is usually between him and I. Everything is usually written in there. It's not communicated verbally
You
between
said
him and
you
I.
didn't scan it and you said you told him about it. So I'm not
I'm
sure what
sorry.
you're saying.
I'm sorry. I probably should have phrased it by when I meant I told him it was written as a message to him in app close. He did ask me one time, what are the pros and cons of the surgery that our son is going to be having? I didn't know the pros and cons either. That's what the pre-op appointment was for. So that way all the questions that we had as concerned parents could be addressed. And that was what I had written in the message to him. And he did show up to that. He didn't show up to surgery. He didn't show up to post-op. Didn't even call to ask how, his last Thursday, he had a dental procedure. Didn't ask him, how did it go? How are you feeling?
So you want
And
him to call and do all that stuff.
I do want him to be that dad. I do. I'm not trying to rip
Your
him
Honor.
down. I want him to be a better father.
Codes
I
help me
want him
out.
to be involved with the kids, engage with the
Well,
kids.
it's not going to happen unless you all do it for yourselves. It's not me just yelling at you. Can you behave better? Can you be more civil? Can you not intrude on people's times as much? Or let's put it in writing because that's all you're going to listen to. That's all I can do. This is parenting for you guys. Either you either fix it or you are who you are, you deal with it. I'm not changing people's personalities. I don't have ability to do that. I have ability
And
to
I
put in
understand
the
that.
order that if you're that concerned, well, let's see how many times you can call that he can put up with. And if you need to be more concerned, then you need to call more often. That's what she wants. But it's not even for me to even be talking this long about this. There's a lot of other cases and
Your
none of
Honor.
them require my attention. Yes, Ms. Coates?
I have a suggestion.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I think, Your Honor, it would be best that Mr. Gonzalez has Mondays and Wednesdays for calling up to 45 minutes and for Ms. Bertetti to have Thursday up to 45 minutes and Saturdays up to 45 minutes. I think that's enough time for each party to check in on the children, see how the children are doing, and if she wants to recap what's going on the weekend, well, she can choose what time she calls on the Saturday
And
for
then there
45
would be
minutes.
definite times and periods of time, and the kids can expect it, and then they can expect it of each other. And if there's emergencies, that's another thing. Y'all can communicate more effectively on that if you need to. But just the regular day to day, that I think I agree with that, Ms. Coates. Mr. Gonzalez, is there any reason that wouldn't work for you?
No, that would be great.
Is there any reason that wouldn't work for you, Ms. Bertetti?
I just want a clear understanding. You said for me, I guess would be Thursdays and Saturdays up to 45 minutes. What's the 40? We don't even have conversations that long over the phone. It's usually about 4 or 5 minutes asking about their day.
Well, yeah, but the point isn't not to call 10 times for 5 minutes to get your 45 minute, 50 minutes, because that's not feasible.
I called twice, and being that I want I want him to be involved with the kids. Can he not agree, or myself agree? Can we agree? Or if you guys can ask him that, if we can call once a day for the kids to check in, because I've never, told him he could never call the kids or that he calls too much, which he doesn't call ever. We would like for him to call more,
Actually, no, I'm going to go with what Ms. Coates says. Y'all have limited times. If you all can communicate and y'all can work it out and you have, it makes you work at it, then you do it on your own. Otherwise, I'm going to limit it. Yeah. If on his time, you can only call twice, on her time, you can only call twice. And if y'all bother to figure it out and work it out for yourselves, I'd be more than happy and that you won't take a court's time to do this. Now, you can't forget your time, so I'm going to add to the order that you do have the requirement to let her know. Let her know when you pick up the children so that she doesn't sit there and not is concerned about it, or you forgot and they're just sitting there. That's wrong, Mr. Gonzalez. So there's going to be an additional component to your visitation when you pick up the kids from the school and drop them back off in the morning so that she's entitled to know about it, that they went to school or they didn't go to school for whatever reason. So pickup and drop-offs, father's required to give mother notice. And you can sit in the car and text her really quick. I'm not asking you to log into app close on your device in your car while you're in a line somewhere, but you can stop somewhere on the curb or whatever. Once they're in the car with you, you can text her, got them, or picked up, or y'all have y'all's whatever code you want to use just to quickly tell her, because it is important. And then if you don't tell her, that's when she needs to be worried or start calling you about it to harass you if you're not letting her know you picked them up. Because that is important. I think that's highly important. So fathers advance to notice mother the minute he picks up the children and drops off the children at school. And then on top of that, Mondays and Wednesday calls for father, and Tuesday and Thursday calls for mother. I'm gonna limit it to more like max of 20 minutes each call. And if they talk that long, great. If they don't, they don't. But that's your time to find out whatever you want, or you wait till they come back to you. What, Ms. Bertetti?
May I also request, I know the swap, other than the school, when school's not in session, being that our court date's being reset to June, can I request that instead of the address that we were using, the maternal aunt's, his aunt's address, can we make it a police station, a Schertz
Your Honor,
police station?
Your Honor, that's one of the issues that needs to be heard in June. So that's one of the contested issues. So that's why I didn't bring it up, Your Honor.
You know, I don't do that very often. I use McDonald's all the darn time if y'all can't go to each other's houses, or it's the school's not convenient, or it's not open, or whatever. Police station's something else. You'll have to convince me of that with another hearing, Miss Bertetti. I don't do that just freely, and because anything can happen at a police station, and they're not there to monitor your exchanges. So
No, I understand. It's just mutual between his house and ours. And I feel like it's
there's a
probably
lot
just
of other
safer.
in-between type places than the police station, because
Can I pick another, a
not right
different
now.
place?
No, not right now. I'm not going to do it. No. Anything else, Ms. Coates?
Nope, that's it, Your Honor. I'm going to attach those new terms to the reset order, Your Honor. But yes, just admonish that both parties please turn over evidence to each other as well as the Attorney General.
Whatever documents you have, everybody needs to share them with the AG and with each other. So I assume you have email addresses on file in the order. I guess you already have it. I would use the email instead of app close for court things. And there is a court email address as well. If you'll put that in the order, Ms. Coates, the CSC 18, so that I don't look at them ahead of time, but at least I'll have them and I can view them at the time if they're introduced and I admit them. So, but I'm not going to look at them ahead of time until I hear the case. It is going to be an in-person docket on June 17th in Guadalupe County at 10:30 a.m. We have a few other cases that are in person. Room 202, yes.
Yes,
They've
room
given
202.
the room number already. So it's in person, and mainly because, well, if it's a long hearing, I'll go back the old-fashioned way to look at all those darn documents and not do that on the computer. That would be better for all of us. But if I need to give you all a deadline, Mr. Gonzalez, is there any reason you can't have everything that you want the court to look at sent out to the AG and to mom by the Friday before? Or do you need
No,
it?
I've had y'all have actually had these documents. This is going to be the third time that I'm going to be resending these documents to all parties. So I do hope that come June, everyone will be on the same page.
Well, the thing with my officer, just so you know, it's like I don't keep any of that stuff. I admit it when I have a hearing, and then it's gone. So if we didn't have a hearing, we didn't use them, then they're not going to be there. So you need to send them to the court again. So I'll
Okay.
have them accessible.
Or Judge, since we're in person, maybe he can bring you hard copies.
Well, that's true. Are you gonna have hard copies of everything since we are in person, Mr. Gonzalez?
I have the hard copies. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have more than one set?
Yes, I have a big stack right here.
Our main issue, Your Honor, was that Ms. Bertetti didn't receive it, so she wants to see it before the next setting because she didn't get it. So my main concern again is just Ms. Bertetti getting it.
So I need to put a deadline on it. Either way, Ms. Bertetti, if you have documents, Mr. Gonzalez, if you have documents, do you have a deadline set for yourself, Ms. Coates?
Let's see, Your Honor. Give me
I know you're busy and you shouldn't use your weekend for this, so.
And Mrs. Coates, sorry to interrupt, Your Honor. These documents pertain to the retroactive support. Is this what we're talking about, or absolutely everything that I've already sent?
everything you would like to use as evidence for the next hearing.
Okay.
I don't know what's gonna come up. I don't know what you're gonna want me to tweak, including visits. I don't know how it's gonna go. So if you want to send it all so she can look at it all, fine.
Your
And-
Honor, June 2nd would be great. Before our systems get like shut down and everything,
Oh,
that would be great if we could have it
so that was
June
like
2nd, the
2
latest.
weeks, a little like 2 weeks before the court date. That's fine.
Yes.
Miss Bertetti, are you planning to have any documents as well?
I already submitted my documents. I submitted them last night and this morning. I did it to you guys and included Francisco on the email. If I need to resubmit it or print them out for you guys, then I can do that as well.
I didn't look at if I received anything from you or not. I'd rather not look at them now if you can send them for the later court date because they're going to be
Right.
gone. Okay.
Absolutely.
June 2nd
Yes.
by 5 p.m.
Yes, that should be good.
That should be good, yeah. June 2nd by 5 p.m. Anything you want the court to consider, you have to trade information. And it's not just each other, but it's the AGs as well and the court. So do your homework, or you could be,
Ms. Coates, can you provide those emails?
that would be in the court order.
Thank you.
That would be there. So you're on notice for June 17th in person at 10:30 in Guadalupe County at their annex on room 202. If you're not there, you could be defaulted, means I go forward without you. No excuses. Okay, anything else, Ms. Coates?
No, Your Honor, that's it. I will get that drafted and sent to them for signing.
So the reset order with the additional pickup and drop off notices and the calls will be included.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, then that'll be the order of the court. The state's going to draft it, email it to you, check your emails, please review it, sign off on it if at all possible. If you don't, I'm rendering the order today, so I get to sign it without you 1 week from today if you haven't signed it by then. So thank you, folks. You can end the meeting now. You're excused.